What's up, my YouTube motherfuckers? Okay. Good, now we can chat. Hey, that's me. I'm Turmeric, by the way. Staring at my own fucking face. And that would suck. So, yeah. Alright, we're rolling. And we're streaming, dude. And we got 2 minutes before we hit recording. Bullshit.
So we're streaming?
We are.
Alright, where the hell's my cursor? I need my cursor. There it is. Dude.
What's up?
I could hear the toilet filling.
Through your headphones?
Through, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to close that.
Yeah.
Check.
So did you tweet out that we're over here now?
I did. I tweeted.
We're over here now.
I tweeted. I am monitoring the live stream chat room to direct folks over to our new home, which is going to be YouTube from now on. So.
Indeed.
But only people on YouTube know that right now. So maybe we should have done a dual stream tonight, and then fuck it. Like 5 people watch us live.
Yeah.
Hoping to change that now with YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a cough button. There we go.
Alright, looking for this. I still didn't get my thing. I can see it from here. Are you ready to light this candle?
What thing are we talking about?
My thing with the YouTube and all like that.
Do you need it?
No.
You can paste it over there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah, just next time you cough, remember that you have a cough button.
I'm not on the air yet.
I mean, we're live streaming, so somebody's head might be hurting.
Yes, that was the middle finger for you, our faithful listeners. All right, here we go on Audacity. We're about to fire it up. Let me check this to make sure we're at the beginning of that. All right, here we go. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Once in a while. That's right, bitches. We are the fantasy football guys, Kevin. We might be a little hot in our in your speakers today because we got all new stuff.
We got all new equipment, so hopefully we're not too loud. But
and just looking at the
board looks like it's pegging too. So
looking at the meters, we're a little hot.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Wow, that was abrupt.
Hey, I got this slide thing now instead of a mouse. It's all new, Lyle.
It is new.
It's
Everything's
all
new. We're also new live streaming with our faces. We're doing a YouTube thing now. They said they can't hear the intro on YouTube. All right, that's something we'll have to address.
We'll have to work on.
We might. You know what it might be? We need another audio channel for your computer. That's what it is on the streaming thing. So I'll fix that next time.
Yeah, well, these things are growing experiences.
They are. I mean, I didn't want to do a test on YouTube for the question show, because we have a lot of stuff going on that day.
Right.
So, we'll fix that next time. That's what it is. We need a channel for your system audio. No big deal.
No big deal.
I'm sure people are really interested in that.
Yeah, this is great radio.
I'm
about to fall asleep.
Fantasy football radio.
All right, so anyway, check us out on live stream at livestream.com.
No, we're not going to be on live stream anymore.
No live stream? Check us out there at live stream. Never again.
We're going to be on YouTube now.
I'm just looking at the list. Check us out on YouTube at the FF Guys, at Twitter at TFFG, at Facebook at the Fantasy Football Guys. Of course, we just mentioned YouTube. Check us out on SoundCloud at the Fantasy Football Guys with hyphens in between all the words.
No.
And that's where you can find us. Coming up later on, hopefully,
we're gonna have to fix that for the live stream, though.
Yeah. Liz Losa from Yahoo Fantasy Sports.
She will be on the podcast, but right now she's not on the live stream. You can add a channel while you're waiting, Kevin.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Actually, I have to sign into a different Skype.
Oh, you have to sign into Skype now, too.
Yeah. And,
that's all right. Well, while you're doing that, I can talk hockey.
All right. And I don't want anybody to see your password either, so.
Oh, yeah? That's all right. They can have my password. So, anyway, if you're into hockey at all, please check out our brothers over at the Fantasy Hockey Guys. And they're doing a lot of good things over there. Their fourth show was just the other night, and they're recording their fifth this very evening. Available on iTunes in probably a few hours, and SoundCloud around the same time.
Right.
So that is all good and fun. And you probably want to check them out if you're at all interested in hockey. The guys really know what they're talking about, and we're trying to get their show, rolling in the quote-unquote guys network. So
yeah,
check them out.
Skype having a little trouble.
Oh, great. Well, I said like 3 minutes before the show started, I was like, dude, we hooked up all this equipment, got all this stuff set up, and nothing went wrong.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah, I had to say it.
Everything's going wrong now.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it does.
Whatever.
There's still plenty of football left to be played this season, but it already feels like the playoffs at DraftKings.com, where millionaires are being crowned all season long.
That's right, Kevin. DraftKings is fantasy football on demand. Play where you want, when you want, with the players you want.
That's the beauty of one-week fantasy at DraftKings.
Challenging friends in a custom league or join an existing one to play for your share of the millions of dollars in prizes being paid out each week.
With so much money up for grabs, every game is the big game and every play matters.
Renew old rivalries or create new ones by playing head-to-head with friends, coworkers, and fantasy players from across the nation.
Just pick your contest, draft your players, and collect your winnings. That's it.
This isn't fantasy as usual. It's DraftKings. Welcome to the big time.
Hurry to DraftKings.com now and turn your love of football into a life-changing payday.
Use promo code GUYS, that's GUYS, and play for free with your first deposit in Sunday's $1 million fantasy football contest.
First place takes home $100,000.
Enter GUYS, GUYS, for free entry now, only at DraftKings.com.
That's DraftKings.com.
Yes, it is, Kevin.
Yeah, unable to sign into Skype.
I don't know what's going on there, man.
Which makes me happy.
Technical difficulties is going to happen.
Well, the problem is that at some point Liz is going to be trying to call in.
Yeah, she is, and that does suck, man. But what you gonna do, homie?
Keep trying to sign in, apparently.
Just keep trying. Well, I can pull up some news if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Vernon Davis, now of the Broncos, wants to explain what went wrong with the 49ers. Eager to read that, but I don't know. Antonio Andrews is going to be a good player, apparently, now.
Says who?
I don't know. Titans interim coach Mike Mularkey wants to run the football, and he likes Antonio Andrews, so speculation is he's going to be good now. I don't know.
Did you change your password by any chance?
I did not. It's the same as it's always been.
Is the first word capitalized?
It is.
Ah, that would change everything.
With an exclamation point at the end.
Yeah, I got that.
Victor Cruz, still without a timetable. Now, do you remember like a month and a half ago when I reported that Victor Cruz had a timetable?
Yes.
That is just really unfortunate.
No timetable.
No timetable. Now,
Excuse me.
I think it's really funny, Kevin, that all these people are being fired now. Have the coach OC, obviously Titans head coach.
Yeah, Pep.
It's really alarming, I think, especially in the Titans case, because I think they've had some bad breaks, they've had some injuries, but I think they're an organization moving in the right direction. I like their young players.
They were.
I feel like I like their. Look, they got Mariota, right? They got Sankey last year. They got Andrews this year, right? So I thought that their running backs are growing and things are looking good. And what's his name? They got hurt. They have some decent wide receiver talent, but Ken Wright got hurt, so
right.
That's a bummer. But I really felt like they were an organization that, while still bad, was moving in the right direction with young players.
They were picking up some players. See, they wanted instant gratification.
You can't have that in today's NFL.
Right. Well,
you can't have it. Name one time it's happened. Name one time a really bad team.
Not happened.
Maybe the Rams. Greatest show on turf. They were kind of bad.
They were kind of bad.
When they won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah,
they went 4-0 in the preseason. Everybody was like, "Oh, preseason hype," and then all of a sudden they, were the greatest show on turf for 3 or 4 years. But it just doesn't happen very often. And I think that if you give a guy leeway to go out and get the franchise quarterback, which he certainly did in Mariota, and I think it's a very good selection, if you give that guy that leeway, but then also fire him.
Yeah, 6 games into that rookie
season.
Right. It was awful move by the owner. And you know what? What head coach is going to want that job then?
Nobody, of course.
They're going to get some guy coming out of college or, maybe a coordinator, but no quality head coach is going to want that.
You know what really sucks? I think it really hurts us as the fans because I really believe that Mariota is the real deal. I think he and Winston could be the next Brady Manning combo where they're just, both really good.
But they're setting him up to be the next, RG3.
They are.
Or
setting
next,
him up to fail.
Yeah.
He is totally set up to fail. He's got a coaching change and maybe slightly a scheme change. They're talking about running the ball more now. So
right.
A scheme change mid-season.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's got to be horrible.
Now they're going to be he's going to be playing for an interim coach. It's awful. I mean, the
so
ownership
have
there.
A new guy next year too.
Right, with the new system.
Mariota might not fit that, and we don't know. I'm speculating, but I'm just saying. I really hate the way that this new NFL is operating. How they're firing people all the time now. I mean, it used to be that you made the season, no matter what. If you were coach day one, barring scandal, you were coach at the end of the year.
Right.
And it really should be that way. It's 16 or 17 weeks, right? Come on. You can't tell me that I was this good 6 weeks ago to command your ship, right? And now I'm this bad that you have to fire me. It surprised me a little bit with the Dolphins, but not as much as it did with Tennessee.
Well, look at the teams that win, okay? Patriots, Belichick, they're forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at Pittsburgh, Tomlin. How long has Tomlin been there? How long was Cowher there before him?
Yeah.
They've had 3 coaches in my lifetime,
That's
team.
Crazy, dude. Is that true?
Chuck Noll.
That's true.
Bill Cowher.
Holy cow.
Mike Tomlin. All right. Now, maybe 4. Who knows? I don't know when Chuck Noll got there, but when I was a kid at 7 years old starting to watch football, Chuck Noll was a coach of the Steelers. All right. So, yeah. Crazy. So, yeah, obvious terrible move by that organization. And they set them back 10 years by firing that guy.
It's a really, really, really bad decision. And I think the saddest part for me is, because I'm not a Tennessee Titan fan. I don't care.
They've been my girlfriend.
They have. I like Daddy
when
George.
McNair was there.
Yeah, I loved McNair. Really, really loved McNair. Like Daddy George, like I said. But I'm not a huge fan. Love Jeff Fisher. I think he's a great coach. But I think what it really hurts is us as fans because Mariota doesn't get a chance really to develop fairly.
Right. Well,
I think it's going to set him back.
It is, and from a fantasy perspective, obviously, he may never be worthy again.
I don't want to.
You never know. You never know. Look what if Shanahan was still with the Redskins, I think RG3 would probably be okay at this point because Shanahan drafted him for his system. Ken Wisenhunt drafted Mariota for his system.
I think his issues could run deeper with the injuries and stuff, but you might be right. We certainly can't expect. I just keep going back to Peyton Manning's first season or Troy Aikman's first season, right? 2 clear Hall of Famers who did not have good years, right? And dude, Dallas was terrible
For the first 2 years,
they were
3
horrible.
years, yeah.
They were horrible. So if they had given up on Jimmy Johnson then, and been like, you're fired, what would that team have become? Would Michael Irvin be on TV? Would Emmitt Smith have been able to embarrass himself on TV?
And continue to do so on occasion.
Would Troy Aikman be in a booth right now? You know, I really do kind of
He
wonder
might be in a
about-
booth, but it would be a toll booth.
Yeah.
Let's get to the games, shall we?
Just great speculation, I think.
Good God.
On our part.
Browns-Bengals. Browns get a Thursday night game.
They do. And it sucks because they're going to... Actually, you know what? I think this is a very big trap game for the Bengals.
I think it is. Division game.
Yep.
It's still at home.
Battle of Ohio.
It is.
Still.
You know, I think
Johnny football.
Yeah, I think the Bengals will be all right.
I think they probably will too, but I'm just saying it's a trap.
It could be a letdown game. They played Pittsburgh last week. They won. So anyway, you got Johnny Manziel. You know, they're really this year there isn't enough information on the guy to be able to say yes, start him. Obviously, you're not going to start him unless you're damn desperate. Maybe you're a McCown owner. I don't know. But I have to imagine you have a better option than Johnny Football. On the other hand, I really like Travis Benjamin this week because Johnny Football's playing. You remember back when football played earlier, Travis Benjamin had...
He blew up.
Big 3 or 4 touchdowns,
He blew up. And then we were like, oh, wait, you know, he's just a Manziel guy. He had a couple of good games with McCown, too.
Yeah, a couple of good, yeah.
But still, you're right. Football does look for the dude.
Duke Johnson is your running back choice. The other guy is Crowell and Turbin. Just ain't getting it done, so you got to look elsewhere. Of course, Lyle's boy, Gary Barnidge.
Let me tell you something. I just got a question about him in the chat room.
Yeah.
The YouTube chat room. It says, you guys think Barnidge has a major drop-off with Manziel? I'm going to tell you right now. No, I don't. I mean, anything's possible, but I'm going to tell you right now. Here's the thing. All right? The guy, since week 3, has the most receptions, the most yards, and the most touchdowns of any tight end in the league. That's including Gronk.
So there you go.
You don't sit that dude ever.
I don't think you do.
He's outplaying Gronk since week 3. F off.
Gronk?
Gronk.
So there you go. You're gonna start Barnidge or Lyle's gonna pop a vein.
Yeah.
From the Bengals side, Andy Dalton, last 3 games, 268 yards per, which doesn't suck. 6 TDs, 3 picks. You're gonna start Andy Dalton if he's been your quarterback all along. You gotta. Jeremy Hill. He's only getting you about 54 yards a game. That's on the ground and through the air in the last 3. No TDs on the ground, 1 through the air. Meh. You could do worse. You could do better. And that better is probably Gio Bernard. He's got 47 yards per game and a touchdown on the ground in the last 3, 22 per game through the air. Not great.
They keep going to Jeremy Hill. I just don't understand it.
Well, he's the bigger back. He's allegedly the power back.
He's also
there.
the not as good back.
He's also the not as good back. Well, you see that he's getting fewer carries. I go, actually not, because Jeremy Hill in the last 3 games has gotten more carries. Crazy.
He's gotten more carries. I mean, Gio's caught a few more passes, but yeah, I just think it's. I mean, listen. I know that Jeremy Hill has not had a stellar season. I'm just, and Gio's been slightly better maybe, but I'm just surprised that they're still going to Hill as seems to be the number 1 guy.
God me, man. But it's a great matchup because Cleveland is 31st in fantasy, giving up over 20 points a game to running backs. So if you got one of these guys, I would certainly give him a go. AJ Green's an obvious go in this one. Marvin Jones picking it up a little bit. 16 catches over the last 4 games. It's only obviously 4 per. But in this matchup, pretty good, almost 24 points a game given up by Cleveland's D. So if you got Marvin Jones, you might want to look at him as a flex. Tyler Eifert obviously cooled off a little bit. He's only caught 53 yards worth of passes per game in the last 3, but 3 TDs in that span. So he's not cooling off that much. Tyler Eifert is your tight end. Be happy. You got a top 5er there.
Right. Speaking of cooling a bit, the Miami Dolphins were taking on the Buffalo Bills, and Ryan Tannehill, man. I saw some people last week that were like, I'm starting Tannehill over Peyton Manning or Rodgers.
We had those questions.
We did. I mean, the guy threw 300 yards. We knew he was going to be behind, and he did, but he also threw 2 picks.
Couple of picks, yeah.
Had a fumble. He did recover that one, but, so obviously I'm not super psyched about him. It's a decent matchup against the Bills, funny enough. They're giving up 17.3 to opposing quarterbacks, but just don't trust the guy enough. Lamar Miller, I would actually trust. I mean, he had a rough game against New England, but he did score. He scored 3 weeks in a row, but he's questionable right now with, and I'm quoting, undisclosed herpes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Lamar's got the herp. He can't be playing this week.
It's got to be herpes. So I don't know. Is it Jonas Gray? I mean, F it. I wouldn't start a running back unless it was Lamar Miller.
Yeah.
The wide receivers are kind of sad. I mean, I really want to love Rashard Matthews. Guy's averaging 74 yards a game in his last 3. He's got a 1 TD in that span. But just not producing quite enough to get him over that hump. He's only got 16 catches in those.
I think maybe flexy.
Maybe. Jarvis Landry is averaging 65. He's got 14 catches in 3 games. He's got 2 TDs. He's probably flexy too. The guy I really want to see, Devontae Parker, just cannot get healthy.
Yeah.
So that's really sad.
He's got nothing.
Right.
In the last 0 games, according to this sheet.
Yeah, and Jordan Cameron is the tight end that I would love to play. A decent matchup against the 18th ranked Bills, but you have him only catching 7 passes in his last 3 games.
Yeah, that's bad.
He has 1 TD there, but so does Deion Sims. So.
Right.
I think Cameron's a very talented tight end, but I don't know that I can recommend him at this point.
Not with a clear conscience.
Right.
Conscience.
Tyrod Taylor is probable with that knee, so hopefully, or should I say supposedly, we'll see him in action this week.
You're actually looking at the camera a lot.
I did.
That's kind of creepy.
Camera. What's up? What's up, world? I just gave you the 1 gun. Maybe I'll give you the 2 guns later. Shady McCoy, last 2 games, he's pretty good. 79 yards and a touchdown. He's got 4 passes in that span, too, for just 20 yards. But not too bad. Carlos Williams is still questionable, so it's the Shady McCoy show for right now. When he comes back, he might hurt Shady's value. But I doubt it will be this week. The wide receivers, still bad. Watkins is questionable with the ankle. You have Percy Harvin and his doubtful, not injury-related. So it's the Robert Woods and Chris Hogan show again, and I'll tell you what, Woods looked pretty good.
He did.
And we've seen him do that in the past.
People are like, should I pick him up? Yeah, you should pick him up.
Yeah, you should pick him up. I think in this situation, if you're desperate for a wide receiver this week, I mean, against this 22 ranked Dolphins, I wouldn't have a problem spot starting him in a flex or maybe even a DraftKings league. Charles Clay, I had a question about him earlier today. Somebody asked me, is he a good enough tight end to start? And I said, yes, but probably not, depending on who's on your waiver wire. I mean, he's a very good tight end, but
inconsistent
he's
is all
got
the
32 yards. He's averaging 32 yards in his last 3 games in 0 TDs. I mean, how do you start that guy, even against the 19th ranked Dolphins? I mean, you just don't do it.
It's tough to do.
You don't.
Packers-Panthers, you know what? I'm sure the Packers looked at this game at the beginning of the season and penciled in a win. Not so much now. Panthers undefeated. Packers, not so much. Aaron Rodgers actually passed for fewer yards last week than Alex Smith ran for, which is kind of a weird stat. Either way, bad games come and go. Aaron Rodgers, best quarterback in the league, arguably. You're going to play him, of course.
I don't even know if we have to argue about it.
No. And I think Tom Brady is a stake in the game there.
Yeah. I will say that, that's probably true.
Yeah. Were you going to argue that?
I was gonna say something, but
Brady sucks.
I was really stupid to say something, and then I didn't say
something. We've been agreeing all day on stuff. Lyle's like, I'm an idiot. I'm like, all right.
I know.
I'm stupid. Okay.
I'm like, you got a small penis. He's like, I agree. It was weird.
It was crazy. Running backs, Eddie Lacy, wow. He played in Denver. I was a little shocked at that. I wasn't expecting him to play in Denver for a couple different reasons. 11 rushes, 38 yards. Did have a TD.
I mean, I think I was clapping at that point. He got in the end zone. I didn't expect much else.
Right, and that's pretty much what you got.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he scored a touchdown. Look at you.
Yeah, and
good for you, Eddie.
Yeah, and my boy Starks had 5 carries for 9 yards, so that wasn't all that great either. But anyway, so I have to imagine that they're not going to do a whole lot better this week going into Carolina. Carolina actually gives up almost 18 points a game to fantasy running backs, but there's 2 of them here, so split that 18 points up. It's still going to suck. So play at your own risk there. Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams, James Jones. Those guys are not averaging above 30 yards a game in the last 3. He's thrown it to somebody. Not sure who that is.
Right.
It wasn't really anybody
just
last
had a question.
week.
Is Devontae Adams worth holding anymore in a PPR? Depends on who's on your waiver wire, pal.
By the way, Lyle and I played in a money league this last week, and I took Lyle down by 1.6 points.
It was a very small margin.
Oh man, yeah.
A very small margin.
Last week it was 27 yards for Randall Cobb, but it was enough to put me over the Lyle hump, which is what I was after.
Dick.
Yes. James Jones continues to catch touchdown passes, so he's a guy I'd play. Adams, you know what? I don't know. I wouldn't go there. In the same, Cobb maybe, because he's a starting wide receiver in that offense. But you really have to temper your expectations with those guys. Something's wrong there. Don't know what it is. From the Carolina Panthers side, Cam Newton in the conversation for MVP this year. It's not the first time you've heard that, even on this show, but he just continues to play really, really well. Here's the thing. 238 yards per game passing in his last 3, 4 TDs, 6 picks there. Don't like the picks. He had a tough game against Philly. He had 3 interceptions there. But they still walked out with the W. He's also run for 91 yards and 2 TDs in his last 3.
He seems to do that.
He does.
Quite a bit.
I think he's the quarterback that gets the most first downs since he came into the league by running. So
really, is that true?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
No, it doesn't really. Yeah. So, you continue to play Cam. You don't need me to tell you that. Jonathan Stewart, averaging 95 yards per game over the last 3. That's pretty damn good. 3 touchdowns in that span as well. They run the ball out there, you know? So, Jay Stu, as long as he's healthy, ride that train. No. Ted Ginn, did you see the open?
Oh, yeah.
I actually got my wide receiver son out of bed to come watch Ted Ginn blow a game-winning catch.
Oh, dude. And it was totally that.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
They ended up winning anyway.
I know.
But, they could have been over, so much sooner. Anyway.
Just heartbreaking.
Don't really dig any of these guys. I guess Ted Ginn is okay, but, Philly Brown, who seems to have no stats, which isn't true.
It isn't true, yeah. I need to render that. I mean, he caught 42 yards worth of passes in a TD last week. But,
yeah. I mean, maybe a desperation flex as we start dealing with bye weeks. Greg Olsen, of course, the man. Last 3 games, 92 yards with 16 catches there, 2 TDs. That's the favorite target. If there's any way at all, you can grab a... what are you doing, man?
2 guns. We're talking in the chat room. Go ahead. Don't pay attention to me. Just don't mind me.
Okay. Once again, agreement. If there's any way you can play Greg Olsen in DraftKings, it would be a good play.
Well, there's a...
It would be a good play to play Greg Olsen.
An announcement that makes sense.
Yeah.
Rams-Vikings in what I like to call Todd Gurley Bowl. And, probably also Adrian Peterson. Nicky Foles is sort of bad, so we won't talk about him. Gurley is the guy you want to play, right? I mean, he's gone off in his first 4 games of the year, so no reason to really talk about it that much. The wide receivers, you totally don't play. Tavon Austin, is a guy that has been successful, I guess, from time to time. He did have a touchdown, last week against San Francisco. He had 98 yards. The week before that, he caught 4 passes for 43. So I think it's not somebody you can totally trust. I know Liz liked him last week, and she was right. But I really can't recommend him on a week-to-week basis, and this is a bad matchup against the Vikings, who give up just 18 points a game to fantasy wide receivers.
Right.
The tight end is Jared Cook. I can say that. That's a fact.
You're right.
That's a statement. Teddy Bridgewater, also not somebody who I would love to play. So let's say it's your bye week and you're desperate for a quarterback and you're looking around. Teddy Bridgewater's on your waiver wire. You're going to go ahead and leave him there.
Okay, let me ask you this. Teddy Bridgewater, Johnny Football?
Johnny Football, because
Wow.
Believe it or not, the Rams are second in the league against fantasy quarterbacks, giving up just 11.4, and it's not like Bridgewater was lighting it up anyway.
Right.
So, Adrian Peterson, we're totally going to play, even though he hasn't scored in his last 3 games. He's averaging 87, though. It's good enough to keep playing him, I think, from week to week.
You think Adrian Peterson's a weekly play? Good call there.
Yeah, I think so.
Fabiano.
He's at least my flex. It's not a great matchup for him, believe it or not, and it's equally not a great matchup for Stephon Diggs, who is facing the number 4 ranked Rams defense against fantasy wide receivers. However, the guy who's got 2 TDs and averaging $111 in his last 3 is somebody we're playing each and every week.
You're going to want to play.
Yeah, Connor Rudolph I'd probably fade to whatever he sucks.
There you
He's
go.
got a couple TDs, but he's also got averaging 14 yards a game. I don't think you can trust that.
Yeah, he tends to be the red zone receiver.
And that's it.
They
Like,
go
there's
for that.
literally a period at the end of that sentence.
Yeah. Then I should probably stop talking.
There's no hyphens.
Right.
You know.
In Spank Ass Bowl, the Redskins Patriots, Kirk Cousins for the Washington Redskins. Last 3 games, 244 yards, 5 TDs, 4 picks. It was okay until I said 4 picks, right?
Yeah. It sounded all right. Yeah.
Yeah, but he actually ran for a touchdown. So, you know what? If it came down between Kirk Cousins and Teddy Bridgewater, I'd be playing Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Patriots actually give up 17 points a game to opposing quarterbacks.
I used to be quite staunch.
Kirk might be all right. That's pretty much where it ends, though. Alf Morris, Matt Jones, Chris Thompson's questionable with a neck. You know what? Matt Jones is being outperformed by Alf Morris. 14 yards per game versus 12 in their last several. 3 for Alf, 4 for Matt. Bad news there. So, yeah, you're going to sit that entire backfield. Wide receivers, Jamison Crowder, last 3 games, 58 yards per, 0 touchdowns. The only person that has a touchdown in this wide receiver core is Pierre Garçon. He has 1. Deshaun Jackson, allegedly back this week. Would you play Deshaun Jackson coming off the couch?
I might.
Yeah, you got to figure that, it's like a new toy for Kirk to play with. You never know. He may throw it at him a few times. I'm going to pine him until I see that he can actually run. That's just me.
All right.
Jordan Reed, last couple games, 40 yards, 2 TDs in that span. Coming off a bye week, yeah, I'm going to play Jordan Reed if he's my tight end or if I have access to him. I'm definitely going to give him a shot. Tom Brady, best quarterback in the NFL, 325 yards per game in his last 4. 11 touchdowns and 1 pick.
I don't know if it's really
Tom's actually run for 2 touchdowns in his last 4 games.
I don't know if I'm that excited about it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's the Patriots. I understand. They hate, everybody hates the Patriots, but you know what? If I had Tom Brady on my team, I'd play him. If I had a DraftKings league I was trying to fill, I'd play Brady. He's very expensive there, though. Yeah.
He is kind of expensive.
Running backs, Garrett Blunt. He's actually getting 59 yards per game in his last 4. TD. He's actually caught a TD pass. I think his first as a pro. Did I read that somewhere? And he actually has one on the ground as well. So, Garrett Blunt's a guy. He's not going to be your number 1 running back, but you could put him in as a number 2 or 3 if you can do that, or a flex as well. Dion Lewis, last 3 games, only 25 yards on the ground, but as a receiver, he's a beast. Couple touchdowns, 57 yards a game. In a PPR, 17 receptions in the last 3.
Wow.
In a PPR, he is a monster. You got to play him. Definitely. Even not in a PPR. If he's going to get you almost 90 yards a game and a couple TDs over the course of 3, yeah, how can you not? Wide receivers, Julian Edelman is a go, of course. Good. Yeah. Last 4 games, 22 catches. That's like 5.5 per. It's pretty good in the PPR.
4 TDs.
4 TDs. That's 1 per game.
Blowing it up.
He does. Danny Amendola is actually startable as a flex. 52 yards a game and a TD. LaFell is still too new still too soon to call him anything but a question. Rob Gronkowski, of course, 3 TDs, 85 yards a game. He's pretty good too.
Is he?
Yeah, he is. So yeah, you might want to give him a shot.
I haven't really heard about him.
It's Gronkowski.
The Titans play the Saints.
The Flaming Thumbtacks?
Yeah, that's also a fact that I can say out loud. Marcus Mariota expected to be back is what I've heard, but he's also still cued with the knee. So keep an eye on that. Bishop Sankey is sort of bad. Antonio Andrews now, maybe the guy. I don't know. Roll the dice if you feel.
You know what? I've heard all kinds of names come out of Tennessee as far as who's going to be their next guy.
Harry Douglas has got ribs. Kendall Wright has a knee. Justin Hunter has a bad, because he's bad. Green Beckham I'd like to see more out of, but I can't recommend starting any of those guys. I really like Delaney Walker. I mean, he's caught 25 passes past 4 games, so I guess in a PPR, he's your guy. He's averaging 63 yards a game there too, but no TDs.
Right.
So
but he makes up for it by all those catches.
I guess it's the Delaney Walker show there.
Is it?
In Tennessee?
That's sad and depressing at the same time.
Sort of, yes. From the Saints side, Drew Brees is he's pretty good. I saw a whole bunch of memes of Eli. It was like, I throw 6 TDs and my opposing quarterback throws 7. And Eli was all sad.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Bad luck, Eli.
Bad luck, Eli. Guess what? So Breeze proved that we don't sit him.
Ever.
Yeah, so he's a quarterback that we play. Mark Ingram, also a running back that we play. 62 carries in the last 4 games for 82 yards. Lots of touches. Also 11 catches in that span. So 3 touchdowns. Yeah, we're going to play him. Cooks has kind of come on as of late. Obviously had a big game. Marcus Colston had a decent game. Willie Snead had a decent... I mean, they had a good game. All the way around.
Breeze threw 7 touchdowns to a bunch of guys.
Yeah.
Ben Watson,
Ben Watson is relevant. Dude, his last 4 games, he's averaging 92 yards a game. Come on. Guy got 3 touchdowns. I know he had a big game, but, I'd play Cooks, I'd play Snead. Colston I don't think I'd bother with, but Ben Watson is an every week start tight end for me right now until things change. Maybe Jimmy Graham wasn't Jimmy Graham. Maybe he was partially Jimmy Graham and also a lot of Drew Brees.
Yeah, and the tight end position in that offense.
Just saying.
You got a guy who's, 34 like Ben is?
He's 34. He's 34.
And playing the role of Jimmy Graham is old guy Ben Watson. Don't mind the gray hairs.
Guess what? He's like, F off. Watch me score touchdowns on you.
Exactly. Collecting cards has always been a favorite hobby of mine.
Me too, Kevin. And football cards were always my favorite.
Still are. So now Topps has brought the hobby of card collecting to the digital world with the Huddle app.
Huddle features officially licensed NFL digital cards that you buy with your smartphone.
Fans like us can collect the cards of our favorite players from our favorite teams. Always psyched when I pull an Eagles player from a pack.
Watch your collection grow by opening packs and making trades with other users. And that sucks.
It does.
We're going to have to redo that.
The Huddle app isn't only... Let's start it now. Collecting cards has always been a favorite hobby of mine.
Mine too, Kevin. And football cards are always my favorite.
Still are, Bubba. So now Topps has brought the hobby to the digital world with the Huddle app.
Huddle features officially licensed NFL digital cards that you buy with your smartphone.
Fans like us can collect the cards of our favorite players from our favorite teams. I always love it when I pull a Eagles player from a pack.
Watch your collection grow by opening packs and making trades with other users.
Oh, we'll be right with you, Liz.
Just F off. We'll do it later. You suck. And the people in Jack can't hear that right now.
Yeah,
we just read that ad twice, and something happened that.
Yeah, we were in the middle of an ad, and Skype went off. And then.
It happens.
Yeah, and then in the middle of it, it just, yeah. So Liz Losa from Yahoo Fantasy Sports. What's going on, Liz? We're doing well. We have a new studio, and we have all kinds of new stuff, so we don't know how loud things are going to be.
Yeah, we're also live streaming on YouTube right now, and we're actually showing our bodies and faces, believe it or not.
As scary as that is, yeah.
I'm very proud of Kevin. Yeah.
Or completely disappear.
Yeah, they're just going to vanish. Yeah, I mean, I saw that he was a scratch too, and I wondered, but I think that people know that, guy doesn't play. They find a different option. I don't know how many people went to Tammy, but I think it's, totally fine that he didn't play. It's unfortunate. That's a bummer too.
Yeah.
You can't predict that kind of stuff. And Geno actually looked like a NFL quarterback.
For about a quarter.
For a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, wow, look at this guy.
Right. Right. Six to Eli. Yeah, we were talking about the whole Wizenhunt firing. Even though he is boring, etc., it was an awful firing. It was a terrible move by that team. They just got a rookie quarterback, etc., and you know it's just an awful move by the ownership. But I absolutely do. I do. Right. Well, you know, I think if they're going to fire anybody, they should have fired the GM because he couldn't, you know, draft or couldn't pick up any offensive linemen, which is the real problem there. Yeah. Right. I got you. Well, I pretend, but you know, I'm more of a skill player guy myself. So
You know,
I interrupted you. I apologize. Please continue about. What? Wow, come on, really?
Homer pick. Homer pick.
I know.
I know, but every time we recommend an Eagle, somebody says the Homer pick. You guys. Wow, Liz. You
Right.
just almost said out loud, I wouldn't recommend an Eagle, but Jay Cutler.
On the other hand,
That's really sad. That makes me want to cry in my face.
yeah.
You know.
Oh, wow. You know the Eagles do lead the league in dropped passes.
Ouch. Well, that's Jordan Matthews,
Yeah,
basically.
that frigging guy.
He's got 70% of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Interesting.
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely going to be out there available to be picked
Pretty
up.
much everyone, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're sitting there, with a bye week or injuries have decimated your lineup, then Pierre Thomas is the guy to grab.
Yeah, by all means. I think his major issue is that he's a 49er.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big problem, right? Like, Well,
Mike Tomsula must.
You know what, though, man? I'll tell you what. He can't be that much worse than Kaepernick. He can't be. Yeah. Yeah, Matty Ryan is not lighting up the league right now either. You're right. He's not. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you know what though? Your guess is as good as mine right now. I mean, we really don't know. And you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if they start firing people too. It's the new look NFL where week to week anybody can get fired and or traded.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
I like the PT Cruiser handle, and I like the pick because he's the kind of guy who could just come out of nowhere.
Sure.
Look at Chris Johnson. He was on the couch, and next thing you know,
yeah,
he's leading the Cardinals.
Everybody counted Fitzgerald out.
Right.
Right. Oh, you're funny, Liz.
You crack me up over there.
That's funny, yay.
So how are things going otherwise, Liz? Oh,
that's always the best. Oh, God.
So it was like a trifecta for you.
No.
Yeah. Been there, swallowed that.
Ew.
Thank you. No?
No?
That's unfortunate.
That's a bummer, yeah.
Liz, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for rushing back and getting on the show with us. Love you. I mean, all right, thanks. Liz Losa from Yahoo Fantasy Sports stopping by once again to class up the joint. We always appreciate that.
Me too.
Take it easy, man.
What?
You're creeping.
I didn't creep.
You're creeping.
No, whatever.
All right. Hey, you know what, Lyle?
What, Kevin?
Collecting cards has always been a favorite hobby of mine.
Wow, me too. And football cards were always my favorite.
Still are. So now Topps has brought the hobby to the digital world with the Huddle app.
Huddle features officially licensed NFL digital cards that you buy with your smartphone.
Fans like us can collect cards of our favorite players from our favorite teams. I love grabbing an Eagles player from a pack.
Of course, Kevin. Watch your collection grow by opening packs and making trades with other users.
The Huddle app isn't only about card collecting, however. You can play your cards and earn points in real-time daily fantasy-style games based on how players perform on game day.
So, with Huddle, you're getting a fantasy football experience, too.
Over 300 million Topps digital packs have been opened since 2012, one by me just today, I swear to God, with fans ripping over a pack a second.
For football, and especially fantasy football fans, this app is a must-have.
Download it for free in the App Store or Google Play and get 10 free packs.
Kevin and I both have the app, and we're absolutely hooked. Get
Love
in
it.
on the fun immediately.
Love it.
Let's do this.
Right. Back to the games we go. I'm glad we finally got through that bad boy. Jaguars-Jets. This is probably going to be a closer and better game than anybody anticipated earlier in the season. Fitz is going to be back. Blake Bortles is actually playing like a real life, fantasy and NFL quarterback. 272 yards per game in the last 3, 9 TDs and 5 picks in that span. That would be more TDs, Lyle, so that's a good thing. Also runs for about 55 yards a game. That doesn't suck either. Blake Bortles, not an automatic start, but certainly a good enough start for us this week. Of course, the Jets are a little stingy against quarterbacks, only allowing about 14.5 points per. But if you've been rolling Blake, I'd keep rolling Blake. Running backs, TJ Yeldon getting about 74 yards a game, but he also catches 20 yards worth. So that is almost 100, kids. 2 TDs in that span, 1 on the ground, 1 through the air. Yeldon, an RB2 or a flex, he's worthy of that, to be sure. The Jets' vaunted defense not doing so great lately in fantasy. Let's put it this way. Wide receivers, you'd think Revis Island would be there, but they're averaging 22 points a game or they're allowing 22 points a game to receivers. Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns, both guys I'd play if you got them. 85 yards and 66 yards respectively in their last 3, 4 and 3 TDs the same way. Either of those guys, find a way to put them in a flex, in a wide receiver 2, 3, whatever, get them in there.
Yeah.
Julius Thomas is questionable with the groin. If he plays, I would play him. Clay Harbor, not so much.
No?
No.
You don't like Clay?
No, not really. He's never really been the receiving type of fella.
Fair enough.
Geno Smith, like Lyle said, looked almost quarterback-like.
Almost.
But then the real Geno showed up. He must have been in the car or something. Anyway, so Ryan Fitzpatrick going to play this week. The injury was to his non-throwing hand.
Yeah.
Good thing.
But he's got like torn ligaments or something.
He does. So he's probably going to be taped up and all that kind of stuff. You all right over there?
Yeah, my mic just keeps falling back away from me.
I don't know. Maybe it's your breath, dude.
It's not my breath, clearly.
You wrestle with that. I'll keep doing this game.
Thank you.
All right. Fitzgerald only averaging about 200 yards per game, but he has 4 TDs in his last 3, and he's also run for a TD in 72 yards. So, yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick is definitely startable. Obviously you're not going to sit Brady for him, but, yeah, he's a guy you can play. I would play him. You better now?
I mean, the effing thing just keeps falling backwards. It's all right.
My mic, perfect.
I know it is.
Chris Ivory, obvious start, of course, 68 yards per game on the ground, 29 in the air. A touchdown in each of those scenarios in the last 3. Chris Ivory, a good matchup also. Against the Jaguars, 19.4 games per game, 19.4 per game against opposing running backs. So Chris Ivory, a good go, of course. Brandon Marshall has an ankle. But if he plays, you got to play him. 95 yards per, a touchdown in his last 3. Decker's a guy who just keeps catching touchdowns. I think he's got 4 touchdowns in the last 5 games. Gotta love that. I would play him as a flex at least, or a wide receiver 2 or 3. 71 yards per game over the last 3, and that would be that game. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch.
It probably will be. You know what else will be? Believe it or not.
What's that?
Raiders Steelers.
Just like the days of old when men were bold.
Kind of. Derek Carr's not horrible, dude.
Another
chat room, they're like, show the mic who's boss. You're doing it, Lyle. Lyle's got it on the ropes. I think I got it now.
Yeah, you sure?
The damn thing kept locking back into place on me. It sucked. Anyway, Derek Carr in his last 3 games, averaging 290 yards a game, Kevin, and 8 TDs, just 1 pick.
That's good.
He comes in against an average-ranked Steelers defense. They're 14th, giving up 15.5 a game. You know what? I'd give Derek Carr a roll. I would anyway.
Yeah.
Latavius Murray in his last 3, he's averaging 79. He's got 1 TD in that span. Not a great matchup for him. I'm going to reserve him for a flex spot, and that's pretty much it for right now. Amari Cooper, on the other hand, decent matchup for him. They're 14th against wide receivers. The Pittsburgh Steelers are giving up 21.1 points a game. That means that Cooper and his 75 yards a game and a touchdown in his last 3 might be a decent start. However, Michael Crabtree is averaging 73. He's got a couple TDs there.
Hated him a couple weeks ago. He's actually started to play.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, man. I'm hearing some talk that Crabtree is somehow been the receiver that revitalized his career in Oakland. Which every other receiver has gone there and sucked.
Yeah.
And Michael Crabtree is somehow like, oh yeah, Oakland's great.
James Jones? No.
Yeah.
Randy Moss?
Randy Moss.
Yeah, no. He goes from there to New England and breaks the record for touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, having Brady doesn't hurt.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, F off. This is ridiculous. Okay.
So is that what you're saying? F off? This is
F off.
ridiculous?
This is ridiculous.
All
That's
right.
official talk from Lyle. I would start both of those guys, obviously. Andre Holmes, caught some passes and stuff too. Did you just see that? Did you see the mic just fall away from me?
Yeah, you have a little issue over there.
I do have an issue that I'm going to have to fix, but right now I'm doing a game, so I'm going to have to just go ahead and work through it like a pro. From the Steelers side, yeah, Andre Holmes, in his last game, he caught 2 passes and caught a couple TDs, but, that's flukish, so I wouldn't recommend him. Big Bizen is Bizak in the Bizilding. I don't know what any of that means, but, he's playing now, so obviously he's a guy you play. Didn't have a great outing his last game, of course.
Well, he wasn't quite Ben-like. He couldn't move as well.
3 INTs. He didn't look comfortable. I expect that will most likely change against the Raiders, who were 27th ranked against quarterbacks, giving up just over 18 points a game.
That's
I love that.
Right.
So, D. Will, best running back in the NFL, pal.
Once again, running.
Let me tell you something. With the Bell going down with this injury, make no mistake. All right? I'm going to look right at the camera. Listen, bitches. This guy could be the key to your season. And I'm not making it up, and I'm not being crazy. And Kevin does not disagree with me.
I don't.
If you can land him, listen, he's going to be a solid play going forward. And there aren't many solid plays left. With guys like Charles and Bell going down,
Think back to games 1 and 2 when there was no Bell.
Yeah.
And D. Will was the leading rusher in the NFL.
He was a solid play. I'm going to tell you right now. Samesies. Antonio Brown, obvious play. Martavis Bryant is just, I don't know, is he better than Brown now? I don't know what's happening, but he's good. So we're going to play him too, and that's pretty much it.
There you go. Falcons 49ers. We were just talking about this game a little bit. You wrestle with your microphone. Good luck with that.
I'm going to do that.
All right. Matty Ryan, only averaging 299 yards per game in his last 4. 5 TDs, 5 picks. Not great. He's not, for a team that's playing as well as they have, he's not performing as you would hope a quarterback in that situation would. But, of course, the 49ers are 22nd against the pass, allowing 17.5 points to opposing fantasy QBs. Not a bad play for Ryan. I know that's great analysis.
He has not been stellar, though.
He hasn't been stellar. Yeah. This is a decent matchup, though. Devontae Freeman's a guy you're going to play, of course. Tevin Coleman, worst thing to happen to that guy is he got hurt. And let the Devontae Freeman show.
The best running back in the NFL,
yeah,
apparently.
He is, of course.
Who would have called that at the beginning of the year?
Not I.
Yeah.
Julio Jones is a guy you're going to play, of course. He's averaging $104 over his last 4. And that's about it at this point. You can make a case for Hankerson, but it would be a bad one. And from the tight end position, there's apparently not a tight end in Atlanta worth listing.
I thought I fixed that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, but either way, we know there really isn't. From the 49ers' perspective, Colin Kaepernick benched, and Tom Sula, the coach, says, we're going to put him on the bench just to let him take a breath and put things into perspective.
Yeah, F off. I hate it when they do that. Listen, I think the most important thing that you can do as a coach is own it. Just be like, look, the guy's not playing well. We think we need to rethink this. There's going to be a competition at the quarterback position. Whatever.
And this week, Colin lost it.
Yeah, but don't.
Blaine Gabbert won it.
Don't friggin' sugarcoat it. That's ridiculous. I mean, you bench him because he's bad. And I've been saying this for a really, really, really long time, Kevin, because, I'm important like that. It was Jacob Tamme, by the way, was the tight end you were looking for. The one that Liz really liked.
Yeah, he's getting 66 yards a game in a TD. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, as tight ends go, the guys not named Barnage and Gronk and, Eifert, that's not bad.
You're totally right. Still, back to the Colin Kaepernick issue. Listen, I've been saying this for years, really. I feel like. I mean, yes, they went to the Super Bowl. Yes, he was good. But teams figured him out. And he hasn't been good since. Like, he's literally been average, below average since then. The guy is a talent. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's got amazing physical skills. But we see this time and time again at the quarterback position. They're not quarterbacks.
Well, the thing is allegedly he's not able to make the reads that quarterbacks need to make.
He's not a quarterback.
Yeah, there you
He's
go.
got a hell of an arm. He's quick. He can certainly make some time for himself. He knows how to run. But he's had a talent. Like, watch what Vernon Davis does in Denver. Like Devin said earlier, watch what he does in Denver, and then tell me that guy's a quarterback. You can't even utilize Anquan Bolden. Listen, you put Bolden on a different team, he's a perennial all-pro.
Like say the Ravens.
He's an all-pro every year, right? Anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Go ahead, sorry.
So speaking of Anquan Bolden, yeah, you know what? Who knows about anybody on this team, whether or not you can play him? Excuse me, because Blaine Gabbert.
You okay?
Sorry, yeah. I have to hit the cough button there. Blaine Gabbert, who knows what he's going to do?
Yeah.
I have to imagine it's going to be
like I told Liz,
maybe as bad as Kaepernick.
He can't be worse, though. He can't be.
Yeah, I just glossed over the running back because everybody's hurt. Reggie Bush is out for the year. Hyde's questionable with a foot. And it just gets worse from there. Bolden, you know what? I'd love to play him. In his last 3 games, he's gotten 83 yards. He's back. He's got a hammy, of course. If he plays, I might consider him for a flex if you got him. Really, Torrey Smith is averaging 52 yards a game, has a TD in his last 3.
Yeah.
With the quarterback situation the way it is, I wouldn't want to go near any of these guys.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Giants Buccaneers would have been teams we would have said that about before, but not necessarily right now. Eli Manning, hey man, guy threw 6 touchdowns last week.
He did.
That would give him 10 in his last 4 games.
Yeah, but without those,
Yeah,
you would
but
have less.
those count though, and he's going up against the 30th ranked Buccaneers. I'm going to greenlight him this week. The running back situation is just a mess. We thought Orleans Darkwa was the guy, but now he went out early last week and he's questionable with his back. You really can't start any of them, except maybe Vereen in a PPR. In his last 4 games, he's caught 18 passes and 2 TDs. It's funny how he maintains that role from team to team. I really think they should give him a fair shake at running the football. He certainly can't be worse than anyone else on the team, but, he doesn't get a whole lot of carries.
Yeah.
The wide receivers is really the bread and butter of this team, of course, and they're going up against the 30th ranked Buccaneers. Opposing wide receivers are scoring 26 points a game against them, and Odell Beckham is pretty damn good. He's got 5 of those touchdowns in the last 4 games, 87 yards a game. You're going to play him. Everybody else I would go ahead and fade, including Larry Donnell, who is questionable with that neck.
Yeah.
From the Buccaneers side, the Giants equally bad against quarterbacks. So Jameis Winston actually isn't a horrible play. They're 28th, giving up 18.4. I'm not saying I recommend them.
I think last week probably boosted those numbers a bit.
They do. I'm not saying I recommend him, but what I will say is that if you're super desperate, you're in a 2-quarterback league or something like that, he's got a decent matchup. So, whatever that means to you, I'd probably start him over Alex Smith or something. But that's about as far as I'll go.
That's a ringing endorsement, right?
Dougie Martin just continues to be awesome. I don't think I can fade him anymore. He's got 3 touchdowns in his last 3, 2 of them on the ground, 1 through the air. He's averaging, 136 or so.
It came down to earth a little bit last week with only 71 yards.
Yeah, but he's good enough, and this is a very good matchup for him as the Giants are 24th ranked against the run. The wide receivers, a little less happy about, but Mike Evans, I think you have to play. He's averaging 84 yards a game his last 3. Only 1 touchdown in that span, but I expect that to change probably this week. If ASJ plays, you play him. Giants are 31st against tight ends. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
There you go. Broncos, Colts. Yeah, Peyton Manning. He looked Peyton Manning-ish last game. 299 yards a game over his last 3. 1 TD. 6 interceptions in that span. Is that correct? That can't be right.
Yeah,
Manning? It kind of is.
In
his last 3.
Is it?
It is. He had
the stats.
He had 0 touchdowns.
He did, but he threw for
340 yards.
Like a good quarterback, but he still threw a pick.
Yeah, threw a pick, didn't get in the end zone.
Yeah, don't question my stats, baby.
Oh yeah, they've been so stellar up until now.
They're spot on.
Okay. C.J. Anderson actually looked like a running back once again. The same thing happened last year. Like, right at the middle point of the season and onward, he looked great. That dude actually busted 100 on 14 carries last week. Had a touchdown. So you're going to trust him going forward? That's going to be difficult to do, but
Probably not, but I
here's
do
the
want to
thing.
point out that this is what happened last year too. Different circumstances.
Didn't I just say that? I thought I just
No, but
mentioned.
I'm just pointing it out that it's different circumstances, so
Uh-huh.
we really can't count on it
Right.
going forward. However, though, I think that there's a like we were talking about dropping him a couple weeks ago. I think that's a huge mistake at this point.
Right. Well, it's a good
It's a
matchup
really
too
good matchup.
because the Colts give up almost 20 points a game to these running backs. So you know what? I might take a shot on him if you got him. If you know, you have to pick your spots. This might be one of them. Great matchup. Allegedly, they're going to try to do more of the running game, situation. Kubiak said that. They proved it last week. So if they're actually going to feed these guys the rock, if you got one of them, I'd play one of them this week. Matchup, circumstance, roll the dice. Demaryius Thomas is trade bait for a lot of people. He had a great game last week. 84 yards per over his last 4. No way you can sit that guy or Manny Sanders either. That guy's actually gotten into the end zone in his last 3, averaging 81. You know what? As soon as Peyton starts playing better, those guys become more relevant again. Vernon Davis is now a Bronco. Who knows how that's going to affect the other receivers, but just think Julius Thomas, maybe a little older.
Yeah.
And you know what? I can't wait to see him in an offense that's actually going to use
He's
him.
a talented tight end.
Yeah. So, I mean, you remember back in the day when, Vernon Davis was younger.
When they had Alex Smith.
He was a beast.
The only person he threw to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the only guy that was open.
Yeah.
So, Vernon Davis is a guy I'd play starting this week. He's extremely cheap in DraftKings. You can get him for like $2,300.
Yeah, wow.
Crazy cheap.
Wow, that is really cheap.
And you know what? They didn't trade for him to sit him. So yeah, route tree's a route tree.
Right.
Just flip off the camera.
Yeah.
Wow, a little harsh, don't you think?
Is it?
It is. Denver is stingy as hell for opposing quarterbacks. Andrew Luck not playing well. Something's got to give. I have a feeling it's going to be Luck's stat line. If you have another option, I would take it.
They got a new offensive coordinator, man. You never know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The offense isn't going to change. They're not installing new plays.
Wow.
Frankie Gore wasn't able to muster enough points last week.
I needed 2 points.
Couldn't muster a win. I was like, no overtime. Yeah. Frankie Gore had 70 yards. He needed 90 to give Lyle the win. Or a couple more catches would have done it for you.
Yeah, a couple catches would have done it.
Yeah.
I hate your face.
Yeah, I know you do. It's going to be a tough matchup because the Broncos are tough against the run too, only allowing 14 points to opposing running backs. But, Frankie Gore also plays through the air, 18 yards a game. So, he's a guy you could probably play in a flex. He's flex worthy to be sure. A running back 3 if you go that deep in your league. T.Y. Hilton, Dante Moncrief. You know what? T.Y. Hilton's a guy I play 3 touchdowns in his last 4, 82 yards a game. Moncrief, 2 touchdowns in his last 4, but only 31 yards a game. He got targeted plenty this last Sunday.
Andre Johnson, man? Guy got another good game last week.
He did. He's got 3 touchdowns over his last 4. You know what?
There's a couple blanks in there.
There are a couple blanks, but recently he's been picking it up a little bit.
He has been.
So, maybe a flex. He's the kind of guy.
It's a terrible matchup. But
it is a bad matchup, but they're going to be behind, so they're going to be throwing. And he's a good possession receiver. He's got the short route. So, what the hell? He's cheap in DraftKings. Put him in as a flex. He'll get you 5 catches for 60 yards and maybe a touchdown. Why not, right?
Yeah.
These tight ends, Kobe Fleener, Dwayne Allen's kind of disappeared. He's only averaging 15 yards per. Kobe Fleener seems to be the guy. 30 yards a game, has a TD in his last 4. Not sexy, but they do throw at him. So, if you have a bye week issue, that's not a bad go.
Okay. Eagles are playing the Cowboys. And by the way, hey, Angie, they suck.
Yeah, Cowboys do suck.
Sammy Bradford's a guy that we won't talk about a lot, including the jersey that I bought. DeMarco Murray is a guy that we might mention occasionally, and it's a very good matchup for him. Cowboys are giving up 20.4 points per game to fantasy running backs.
Yeah, their defense stinks.
And it's he's going back to Dallas. I'd like to see him pick this up. Now he's averaging 3.5 per carry on the season, but he does have 2 touchdowns in his last 3 games. I think that this is the type of matchup you play him in. The other ones you don't. Ryan Matthews probably isn't a bad play in this week. week's game. Sproles just doesn't play enough on offense to recommend that. The wide receivers, however, you cannot play. Any of them. Love Nelson Aguilar. I wish Jordan Matthews was an actual receiver and not a glorified giant safety who stands in the middle of the field as a decoy and bounces footballs off his hand. Anyway, the tight ends you can't play either. So really it's the DeMarco Murray show right now. Bradford's probably a good play this week, but he's just not safe enough. You just can't play him. You just can't play him. From the Cowboys side, Tony Romo probably not back. Matter of fact, I don't think he's going.
He's just back. Now started to do light work.
It's November 20-something. That is
Game
his
11.
Official, comeback date. So, but he is practicing and stuff. But Matty Castle is running the show.
He's so bad, and
he's really bad. And this is a really bad matchup for him.
I have to imagine that they might actually be considering putting Whedon back in. That's how bad Castle is.
But you can't you backtrack, rather. You
can't you?
No. Not with your ego. No, not as an NFL coach or whatever. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. So this is just in, by the way. The banner on the DK homepage, and I probably shouldn't tell you this, but I'm going to because there's other people. Vernon Davis has been acquired by the Denver Broncos and will not accrue fantasy points in this contest.
Really?
Yeah, so fix that. So there's a PSA for you guys. Thank you to Joel in our chat room who updated me with that info because we didn't know that. So
I got it.
Will not accrue points in DraftKings this week.
Yeah, they should take him off the list then.
He should be, but that's why they notified everybody.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. Anyway, Darren McFadden is the dude. How bad is the freaking Joe Randall saga? Is he gonna? Are we doing an expose on him like in 6 months where he's living in a car down by the river? Or something? What? How bad can it go?
To go from starting running back in the NFL to on the street,
released,
and he didn't even hit a woman.
Yeah, I know. He usually do drugs.
Usually that's he did. He actually got a couple.
Well,
he got the weed possession.
Well, I don't think of weed as drugs. He
the NFL does.
He didn't commit violence against a child or a woman or even like another man or anything, right? He wasn't carrying a gun in the club, didn't shoot himself in the leg, like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
You know, all this crazy stuff that you see going on.
You know what? He just might be a huge a-hole.
Dude, there was a major meltdown, right?
Right.
Like something really bad happened. This isn't just weed. Like something really bad went on. I'd love
unless it was a lot of weed.
I don't care.
Dude, if the cops pull you over and you have 10 or 12 bricks in your trunk...
He didn't have pounds.
I know, he didn't.
That would be all over the news. He had a little bit of weed on him. A big deal. It's legal in some parts of the country. Who cares?
Yeah, but...
Decriminalized in others. I agreed, it's an NFL thing, and you get suspended, probably. Yeah. I think that's the saddest part. He has to work his way back onto a team, and then he's probably going to get suspended.
Yeah.
So the team has to put up with that, too.
Good luck with that one.
It's a real bummer, man. Except that he's a Cowboy, and I hate them. But, you know, maybe he'll sign for some other team, and I'll have to like him. Anyway, he's gone, so it's the Darren McFadden show, really 100%. Christian Michael might get involved, but this is a terrible matchup for him, too. Somehow the Eagles' defense is very good against quarterbacks and running backs, but they're bad against our wide receivers, and Des Bryant is probable and will most likely continue to
you know what? And Eagles are very good against tight ends, too.
They are. They're number one against tight ends, but they're 23rd against fantasy wide receivers, and Dez is a guy that you're going to want to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Chicago Bears and the Chargers with the Monday night tilt. Jay Cutler, who Liz says is a good play this week, and she's not wrong. The Chargers are number 17 against fantasy quarterbacks, allowing almost 17 per. Cutler.
The only problem I have with it is it's Jay Cutler.
Well, yeah.
That's my main issue.
Exactly. He's 272 yards a game in his last 3, 4 TDs, 1 pick. Has been playing well. Maybe it's because Alshon Jeffrey has come back and is healthy. Maybe. Anyway. Matt Forte and his knee are doubtful. That means it's the Jeremy Langford show partially. And not a whole lot going on there. Did score a TD, but only averaging 18 yards per in his last 3. Maybe that'll kick up as he gets more time. Maybe. I don't know. I ain't going there. Alshon Jeffrey is a play, of course, $132. Average over his last 2 games, a couple TDs in that span. Yeah, Alshon Jeffrey's pretty damn good. Marcus Wilson Last 3 games, 51 yards and a TD.
No.
I'm guessing you have a better option there. Martellus Bennett, he's only gotten 41 yards a game in his last 3, but he's the kind of guy who could go off for 100 and a couple TDs in a game. So roll with him if you have been. Phillip Rivers, 376 yards a game in his last 4. Brutal. Of course, he did have a 500-yard game, but they all count. 376, dude. 10 TDs, 3 picks in that span. How are the Chargers not winning ball games?
Well, because the rest of their team's bad.
That's it. Brandon Oliver has actually been almost outscoring total yards than Melvin Gordon had. He's got 25 yards per game on the ground.
That's the problem.
32 yards a game in the air.
Like he's outrunning him, but he's doing it like by 5 yards, and they're also bad numbers.
They are.
So it's just like...
hard to recommend any of these guys, except for, of course, Danny Woodhead in a PPR, 23 catches over the last 4 games. So, yeah, he's going to get you some points. 6 yards and a couple TDs there as well. So, Woodhead, Oliver Gordon, no, not so much. Unfortunately, Keenan Allen had a lacerated friggin' kidney, so he's out for the season.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he's going to
I think Stevie Johnson's going to pick that up, though.
Stevie Johnson and Malcolm Floyd have to step up. Obviously, Malcolm Floyd has been playing well. 2 touchdowns in his last 4 and 61 yards a game in that span. Stevie Johnson is probably going to get more opportunities, and he's also very cheap in DraftKings. You can pick him up there for next to nothing and toss him into a flex spot and probably be very happy. Antonio Gates, probable with a knee. If you got him as a tight end, I would definitely give him a go. A couple TDs in his last 3 and 81 yards a game. Roy, gotta love that. And that...
beat them games, bitches.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? All right, well, we got a few minutes to answer some questions.
Let's do this first.
What? Do we have to?
There's still plenty of football to be played this season, Lyle, but it already feels like the playoffs at DraftKings.com, where millionaires are being crowned all season long.
DraftKings is fantasy football on demand. Play where you want, when you want, with the players you want.
That's the beauty of 1 week fantasy at DraftKings, Lyle.
That's right. Challenge friends in a custom league or join an existing one to play for your share of the millions of dollars in prizes being paid out each week.
With so much money up for grabs, every game is the big game and every play matters.
Renew old rivalries or create new ones by playing head-to-head with friends, coworkers, and fantasy players from across the nation.
Just pick up your contest, draft your players, collect your winnings. That's it.
This isn't fantasy as usual. It's DraftKings. Welcome to the big time.
Hurry to DraftKings.com now and turn your love of football into a life-changing payday.
Use promo code GUYS, that's GUIS, and play for free with your first deposit in Sunday's $1 Million Fantasy Football Contest.
First place takes home $100,000.
Enter GUYS, GUIS, for free entry now, only at DraftKings.com.
That's DraftKings.com.
Yeah, now.
We have some questions in the email. We have some questions on the forum. Let's get there now. Your King Daddy says, what do you guys feel are the best ways to make waivers fair? Continuously roll them or reset them by record each week? Thanks, fellas.
You have to reset them.
So the reason for asking is because he's in a league where waivers reset every week by record, and worst team gets first priority. I'm super salty because I've lost the following due to injury and cannot replace them. He's 8-0. He's lost Jamal Charles, Arian Foster, Steve Smith, and Keenan Allen.
That's the whole point. I feel real effing bad for you, but you're 8-0.
Right, there's some poor bastard out there at 0-8 trying to turn it around.
Yeah, so I mean, dude, you're not going to replace that.
He says, any tips to stay positive? Sorry for the loaded question.
Yeah, you're not going to, but here's the thing, though, dude. You're 8-0. You're almost guaranteed a playoff spot. Dude, roll with that and try to roll with the team. We've all been beat up by injuries this year. It's been really, really bad. Okay, I don't think I've talked to a fantasy owner that hasn't been affected by a major injury at some point this season.
Brady Quinn has come out to say HGH use is the reason for all these injuries.
HGH?
Yeah. Human growth hormone?
I know what it is.
Yeah.
Who's Brady Quinn?
Brady Quinn, former Browns quarterback. Yeah, never heard of him.
Doesn't ring a bell.
No.
Anyway.
It's hard to stay positive in this situation because you know you're not going to be even if you had the first waiver pick, you're not going to make up for these losses.
Right, you'd get one person, but even if you got the one person you wanted, it's not going to make up for all that. So
just
just try to stay positive, dude, and work that wire every week, and you're almost guaranteed a playoff spot at this point. So be thankful for that, and maybe you'll make a run in the playoffs. You never know.
Yeah, because everybody else is suffering too.
Yeah. We've all been bit by the injury bug this year. Durock says, greetings, gentlemen. Somehow my BoJack Horseman costume took 4th in the work costume contest. That's BS. And I parlayed that luck into two crushing wins in fantasy. Let's keep the drive alive. 1 PPR, no flex. We got 3 wide receivers, Kevin. Benjamin at Cincinnati always goes big when he sits him, he says. James Jones, Landry. He's got Hearns and Bryant of the Dez variety. And of the Allen, I don't mind you sitting Allen Hearns against the Jets. Dez Bryant's pretty hard for me to sit, dude. Even with Castle throwing to him.
Dude, Hearns, I'm not sure I'd sit Hearns.
Against the Jets, I could see it.
I would play Benjamin because of the Johnny Football deal. Mm-hmm. James Jones is hard to sit, but dude, Carolina has a great deep backfield.
I'm not sitting James Jones, though.
It's tough. Landry, I'd have no trouble sitting.
For Dez?
Yeah, I'll put Dez in.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, but you're like, oh, the Jets, but
it is a peeper. Landry's pretty good in a PPR.
Yeah. You can read the rest of the question?
I am. I was just making sure you were done.
I am.
2 running backs. He's got Miller at Buffalo, McFadden versus Philly, or DeMarco Murray at Dallas. I would swap out McFadden for Murray.
You'd play Murray?
I would. Over Darren McFadden, yes.
I'd play McFadden and Murray and sit Miller.
Actually, Miller doesn't have a bad matchup. Buffalo has a reputation for being really, really good against the run, but they're actually not. Now, he's questionable, but they're 17th against the run, giving up 15.6. Eagles are far better than that. I would play Lamar Miller if he plays. If not, it's a really easy decision, obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that would be.
So let's see the picture.
It's going to go ahead and be Velma and Cyclops. Both of them drop their glasses,
and they have to look for them by feel.
Looking for them by
That's
feel.
actually very clever.
It is fun.
Dallas Fan 54 says PPR, pick my flex. Allen Robinson at Jets or C.J. Anderson at the Colts.
You ready to jump back on that C.J. Anderson train?
No, I am not. I'm going to go with Allen Robinson.
Yeah, me
there.
too.
You know what? He says Robinson will be on Revis Island. You know, Revis Island, not as stingy as it used to be.
You got to play him, though. Funny enough, we look at the Jaguars now, and we're like, yeah, that dude you got to play, that dude you got to play. Yeldon's playing pretty good, you got to play him. That's pretty weird.
It is. We're not used to that.
No, that's the NFL, pal. Year to year.
That's this year's NFL, kids.
Yeah. Oh, you done?
I am.
Yeah, right. Magic formula leads to perfection.
I like this.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for all the superior, mediocre advice.
This is Michael, by the way.
Yeah. I've been listening for 2 years, and I'm in a 12-team standard league. No PPR, no flex. I'm 8-0.
Nice.
If I played every team every week, I'd be 85-3.
Nice.
Thanks to the magic formula. I picked up nothing but running backs and wide receivers until the 7th round. Ooh. If it wasn't for you guys saying pick up as many running backs and wide receivers as possible, there's no way I would have drafted Freeman in the 6th. So keep up the great work, and thanks for all the free funny. By the way, the website needs a major overhaul.
Yeah, well.
Thanks for the newsflash. He said he has the 5th pick. He lists his team. It's ridiculous, obviously. He said, I include 2 pictures, one for Kevin, one for Lyle. Can you guess which one is for Lyle?
Yeah, Barry Sanders.
Yeah, Barry Sanders is for me, and there's a really hot chick, scantily clad in Eagles gear for Kevin, I'm guessing.
She's pulling the underwear down. Right?
I'll go ahead and stare at Barry.
Dude, you know what? I'm looking at his top 7 picks,
the
top 6 picks, and really the only questionable one in there is Rashad Jennings. But who knew? 4th round was great for him.
Yeah, that's a great pick. But he's right again.
And then he got Brady in the 7th.
The Freeman
God.
In the freaking 6th, Brady in the 7th. I mean, it's a ridiculous set of. That's a ridiculous run. And dude, he got Phillip Rivers in the 12th round.
I know.
F off.
I would have traded him by now. New York Giant Boy 72 says, all 1-point PPR questions, Blunt or Rashard Jennings?
Blunt.
Yeah, he doesn't catch, but neither does Rashad. Eli or Tyrod? Great matchup for Eli.
He did just throw 6 touchdowns, man.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go Eli here.
It's hard to sit Tyrod Taylor, though, because he was playing well before.
Yeah, but with his injured leg, maybe he's not going to run as much. I don't know.
You're stretching though. Like you're sort of making stuff up to justify it. You don't know that that's true. You're just saying, well, he got hurt.
He's questionable with a leg.
Yeah, I know, but
part of his appeal is that he's a running quarterback.
I know, but if he plays, you assume that he's healthy.
Well, Roethlisberger played last week. Was he the same running Ben that he always was?
A totally different situation.
No, it isn't.
Yes,
a guy coming back from injury with a leg injury. Would you have
sat Roethlisberger last week for Eli Manning? You would have been wrong if you'd have started Roethlisberger, but you still would have started him.
Yeah, but that's last week.
Okay. You're just throwing stuff.
I play Eli. Great matchup.
I think you're playing Eli based on what he did last week. If we look at what he'd done before that, I think it's a little bit closer. I think I'd probably play Tyrod.
You would not.
I think I am.
You lie like a...
Why am I lying?
Because you suck.
He threw 6 touchdowns last week, but that was against the Saints, who were terrible. They're terrible.
I'd still play Eli.
Okay.
Start 3 running backs. Jay Stu, Jay Hill, L. Murray, L. Miller, James Starks. Jay Stu.
Yeah, of course.
L. Murray.
He's questionable, though, right? Oh, no. Miller's questionable.
Yeah. So you're going to play Murray because he's going back to Dallas. Good matchup. He's been playing better lately. So Jay Stu, L. Murray.
Well, L. Murray is Latavius, not DeMarco.
Oh, jeez, what am I thinking?
I don't know. You're
So
thinking about a totally different Murray. I think you still play L. Murray.
yeah. What am I? Yeah, I was thinking D. Murray, but obviously too many damn
Starks I
running
wouldn't
back
play.
Murrays.
Lamar Miller I would probably play.
If he plays, there's nothing to
it's
play.
Jeremy Hill.
There you go.
Yeah.
C.J. Anderson or Eddie Lacy?
Lacy.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I still play Lacy.
yeah. You
Got
know,
a touchdown last week against one of the best defenses in the NFL. He's still there. C.J.
Yeah.
Anderson had a game.
yeah, I know. And you know what?
And he's got a Ronnie Hillman problem.
It might be regret if you play Eddie Lacy, but he's the safe play, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Pick one flex: Diggs or Latavius
There's
Murray.
no effing chance I'm sitting Diggs.
No way.
No way.
L. Murray or Lacy
Lacy.
over Latavius Murray.
Yeah, with the injury and stuff. Oh, no, that's Miller again. I keep doing that. Yeah, no, it's still Lacy, though, for me. It's close, though.
It's a little bit close, but
Close.
I can't disagree with you.
Yeah. Dan from Brooklyn says, "Hey, guys, I just started listening to FF Podcast this year, and yours is my favorite."
Ours?
Wow.
Thanks,
Start
bro.
Matt Ryan or Blake Bortles. That's actually kind of tough. But I still think it's Matty Ice.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you really? Well, Jaguars are playing the Jets. That's probably not the
That's
easiest
my
matchup
problem.
you're going to get.
If it was any other week, I'd probably play Bortles.
But you know what? Just the fact that, you know, it's
I mean,
not like, oh, you play Ryan, of course.
Listen,
It's crazy.
it's not
too.
that Ryan is blowing things up. He's not. Okay? And Bortles has played well. Probably outplayed Ryan most weeks. I just don't think it's going to be this week.
Well, the whole Jets thing.
Right. I think they're close enough that you could throw a dart, but at the same time, I think I'd go with the safe play and roll with Matty Ryan.
He says, I usually ask hobos on the street for advice, but your ideas might offer comparable results.
12 man.
Wait a minute. Hobos? What is this, the 50s?
Yeah, I know.
Come on, man.
What do they have, sticks with the...
Bags tied on the end.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sooner Fan 22 says, "What's up, fellas? I'm in a 12-team keeper, and I'm currently sitting in 7th place, and the top 8 teams make the playoffs. I just lost A. Foster and J. Randall, so I'm doing everything I can to stay competitive in my league." Well, good for you. Through a couple of other trades, I was able to get Hillman and Hill. I have recently been proposed a trade where I give Frank Gore and Kamar Aiken, and I received Gary Barnage and Stephon. Yes!
Yeah.
You
with
get Diggs?
Diggs?
Diggs and
off.
Barnage for Gore and Aiken?
Yeah. You get 2 of the best players in the NFL right now? Yeah.
He gives Gore and Aiken and gets Barnage and Diggs.
Why would you not pull the trigger on that already?
Is this enough of an upgrade at wide receiver and tight end to warrant the trading of my running back depth?
Yeah.
It is. I would, dude. You got to do it. Thanks for the mediocre
They both
fantasy advice.
score every week, and they're amazing. Yes.
You have to wonder, though, can they keep it up? I would take that chance.
Yeah. I'd go ahead and roll the dice on people that are playing well to continue to play well.
Said nobody on the waiver wires. Everybody was scraped off the wire today. Yeah, of course.
Of course, they were. LaFell or Djax? That's from the chat room.
Wow. I'd probably take a chance on Djax there.
Really?
Over LaFell, what's he done? Nothing.
Not much. No, you're right. But still, he's on a far better team.
With far more weapons.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Djax is the fastest guy on the field when he's on there.
Supposedly. Yash says, "Hey guys, I've been listening to your podcast for about 4 years now and have really grown fond of your slightly above average fantasy advice.
We like it our damn self.
This past week, the fantasy football gods, looked down upon me and decided to end the season for 3 of my starters.
Ooh.
Le'Veon Bell, Keenan Allen, and Steve Smith Sr.
Oy.
The Des Bryant owner in our 8-team standard league has recently offered me Des for Lamar Miller. Should I pull the trigger given that, as of now, my top 2 running backs are Gurley and Freeman, whereas my top wide receivers are Demaryius Thomas and Tavon Austin? Yeah, pull the trigger there. I would roll the dice with that.
Yeah, I think so.
Says, thanks for the decent fantasy advice, and here is an attached image, which is, by the way, just fantastic. Lots of bear tatas, Kevin.
Wow.
Yeah, they're just out.
I would count 6
There are 6.
bear tatas.
Only 5 nipples, though. Sadly, just 5 nipples.
Yeah, I get you there. Big Balls says standard 10-team league. I'm 7th in my league at 3-4-1, and want your advice on my team for crunch time. I'm thinking of trading for a quarterback and a wide receiver if necessary. I can probably get Carr or Eli for CJ or Hill. He wants to keep Yeldon as his keeper for next year.
I don't blame you there.
He
He gets a lot of carries, and he's actually been playing well.
Yeah. He's ordered trading for a number 2 wide receiver and give up a running back and wide receiver. I like having depth, but I need a star for the playoff run. What do you guys think? Also, who should I drop for a kicker? I don't know.
Who's bad?
Tate. Drop Tate for a kicker.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I mean, if you need a quarterback or a wide receiver to give yourself depth, I think your quarterbacks are okay. You got Bortles and Hoyer to play until Romo gets back, and when he gets back, you play him.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what he was doing before he went out. He was doing very well. And your wide receivers, you got some guys, but you have some questions there as well. I would go for the wide receiver or running back to build depth there, I think.
Don't hate on that my damn self, Kevin.
Right.
All right, last one, buddy. Do I make the trade? Adam says, what's up, fellas? 10-team peeper. Lost in the Super Bowl last season. You're not allowed to use that word.
Big game.
Season. Trade offer is Julio Jones and Duggernaut for Gurley. Ooh. Third place at 5-3, quarterback, 3 receivers, 2 running backs, tight end, flex. He lists his team. Your mediocre advice has screwed the pooch in half of my leagues.
So he gets Julio Jones and Doug Martin and gives up Gurley?
Trade offer is Julio Jones and Duggernaut for Gurley. It doesn't say which way it goes.
Well, it says he's got Gurley.
So he gets Julio Jones and Doug Martin for Todd Gurley. I think I have to pull that trigger, dude.
Yeah.
Julio for Gurley at this point is probably an even swap.
And you get Doug Martin in the mix? Yeah,
I think you have to do it.
That would leave him with Dez, A.J. Green, Hopkins, and Julio Jones.
But here's the problem. He can only start. Well, he can start 3 wide receivers and a flex. So he plays A.J. Green, Hopkins, Julio as his starters, probably Des Bryant as his flex, and he only needs 2 running backs, and he plays Ivory and Doug Martin there. F off.
Championship.
Yeah, I think you have to pull that trigger, dude.
Wow.
I think it sucks to get rid of Gurley. I would not do this if this was a keeper league. I would not do it if it was a Dynasty League, obviously. But in this kind of format, I think that if it's a redraft and it's a PPR too, I think you absolutely have to pull the trigger. I mean, Julio Jones is going to catch a ton of passes. And on a PPR, he's just money. He's cash money.
He is cash money. Yeah, that's just craziness.
Yeah, go for it. All right. We're going to play an outro here. You won't hear it, people that are listening on YouTube, but I promise I'll fix that by... Excellent, it just started in the middle. There we go.
That was so weird.
I'll fix that for Saturday. We'll get that fixed.
Yeah, we're working through some stuff here. I've gone from a mouse to a touchpad. That's kind of messed up.
Yeah, I know. And we got new articulating mounts and brand new microphones and these new IKEA desks that are adequate.
Yeah. Just like everything IKEA.
We got a new
they're pretty good
HD camera on a tripod up there. And,
indeed.
A lot of new things.
All right then, bitches. We will be back Saturday, 11 a.m.
We'll be back on YouTube. No more live stream.
Yep.
But I'll be over there directing people back to this YouTube channel thing that we got going on.
Right.
All right, bitches.
Peace. Hey, there we are.
Out. Are you looking at us?
I am looking at us. I'm looking at us, looking at them, looking at us. All right, we're out. You'll probably see a little more video after this, but...
Dave says I need to tighten my nuts.
Yeah, your nuts are a little loose, bro. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to hit the stop button. And, I forgot to do the little saying. We'll do that Saturday.
Tennessee hod clapper.
Something. 5 inches. Oh, I guess I have to do this other thing where it says stop streaming.
You do if you want to get off of YouTube. Yes.